And he is standing by with the fourth member of our crew, Chancellor Johnson. Chancellor.
Putting the sharpshooter Emanuel Sharp, the preseason All-Big 12 team and one of the leaders of the reigning back-to-back Big 12 champs in the Houston Cougars. We were talking off air about how you had to wake up this morning at 4:30.
Yep.
Had practice, then hopped on a plane.
Yep.
What did Kelvin have y'all doing this morning?
Getting after it, competing. It's the same thing we do every day. But it comes with being in this program. That's what we're here for, is to get after it every day and compete. And that's what we did this morning for sure.
The last time we saw you and this program was in the national championship game where you guys came up short. What have the past 6 months been like for yourself as you recognize you were right there, but you also understand you have a real opportunity to potentially do it again?
Yeah, it was, kind of sour, knowing we wanted to, finish off the season the right way. But, it's basketball. You're not always going to end it the right way, but, it's a lesson. We're taking what we learned from last year and we're going to try to apply it this year and get better.
Speaking of lessons, your coach, we just heard from Kelvin Sampson, gives plenty of life ones. You've been to war with him for some years now. What does he mean to you as a player?
A lot. Like it's way more than just a basketball coach. He's a mentor. I've learned so much, not about basketball, but just about life. Because I feel like it coincides. Everything he teaches on the court applies to all areas of life. Competing, showing up every day with the right attitude, the right effort. That's not just basketball. That's everything. Your job, your work, family. You show up every day. And, he preaches that to all of us. And, I've tried to do my best as to, take that in and apply it to my life since I was a freshman.
Speaking of freshmen, you're one of the elder statesmen on this team who features, a number of freshmen that you guys will be relying on. Yeah. What was a moment in practice where you thought to yourself, okay, these guys, they're going to be pretty good?
Since the beginning, since we started getting after them 4-on-4, I remember it was the day Kingston was killing everybody, and I was like, yeah, he's gonna be an important piece for us this year. But it's the same for all the freshmen. They're advanced. They've got great attitudes, and they want to get better. That's the thing. Some people just go out there and play, but they actually have a drive to get better and improve, and that's what we need.
I was joking with you last week when I saw you that you're getting old, man. You're senior now. Yeah. For you, when you look back on it, what's the biggest difference from freshman year Emanuel Sharp to the man who's sitting with me right now?
I think just being more experienced. I feel like coming in as a freshman, you just kind of trying to survive. Within the defense, offense. It's new. It's a faster pace. More physicality. So, when I first got here, just trying to find any way that I can, help the team. But now it's about, leading. I'm more experienced. I got to, bring up the guys around me. I got to help others. Whereas when I was a freshman, I'm the one being helped. I'm asking questions. But, now I'm in other people's ears. I'm leading the freshmen, giving them pointers, advice. But, I'm used to it. So it's great.
Looking forward to covering you throughout the year. Thanks for your time, Emanuel.
No problem. Thank you.
Matt?
Thanks, Chancellor.